Is being a housewife everything you've ever dreamed?
To make you feel as confused of purest love. Oh, Emily, you said you went in the seas he wrote on. Oh, you're Emily Dickinson. Oh, Emily, you didn't have to feel that way. Destiny of love doesn't need to wait, but you should have just forgotten the face he left amid your loneliness, and decked your heart with joy and gladness. Instead he went in the seas he rode on. Well, that's just you, you're Emily Dickinson.
Good morning and welcome to Lost for Words. I am Sarah Woods, and today we are continuing our journey into the poetry of the lovely Miss Emily Dickinson, where she is going to light up our imaginations and take us to a place where being a housewife and cleaning becomes the most magical and glorious experience you've ever read about in a poem, I promise you. So we are just going to dive straight in this morning. This is poem number 219, and I'm going to read it to you now. Okay, so get your imaginations ready, okay? She sweeps with many colored brooms and leaves the shreds behind. O housewife in the evening west, come back and dust the pond. You dropped a purple ravelling in, you dropped an amber thread, and now you've littered all the east with duds of emerald. And still she plies her spotted brooms, and still the aprons fly, till brooms fade softly into stars, and then I come away. Oh. I just love this poem. I feel like the first time I read this poem, it just ignited like these waves of color in my imagination that it was so satisfying and beautiful. Like there's so many different colors in this poem. It's incredible. I guess I'm curious, if you're a housewife, how many of you experience this feeling when you are cleaning your own homes? The thing that I love about this poem is that she takes something that she squishes reality with fantasy, and it like sort of like pushes them together until she creates like this new reality, which I just love. So in reality, if you're a housewife, there are some women I know who really like thrive in being a housewife. Like it was like they were given this just amazing gift to be able to be at home and take care of their home and cook and take care of their children and do things for their husband. Like you can tell some women are genuinely like ignited by this experience. Not saying that none of it is hard or difficult or mundane that they have to work through. But then I feel like there's other women that maybe they jump into this world, you know, they go from single to being married, and they create this world for themselves because they feel like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then they get into it and they realize that there is a lot more mundane in this world than they had originally planned. And I think for the very adventurous spirit, for the person who craves new experiences on a regular basis, like traveling, trying new foods, meeting new people, movement, just that constant like going. This lifestyle can be very difficult to adjust to. I think some women are really good at figuring out how to infuse that into their life. But I know for me personally, there have been seasons in my life where being a housewife would have like weeks where it felt very inspiring, and then it would have other weeks where it felt like I was almost dying, just because of the lifelessness in that I would experience in the cleaning and the cooking and the taking care of other people. I think somewhere along the way, it's easy to sort of like lose yourself. So to me, the reality of being a housewife is a very complicated one, and it's easy for it to lose its luster and its magic. So I feel like this poem from Emily Dickinson is like a little, I don't know, it's just like a little treasure. It's a gift. I love that okay, so this is one of the things about being a housewife. If you're a housewife, you're at home, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're taking care of your children, you're always being needed. It's easy for your world to become like very little, especially when your children are very young, because you can be at home a whole lot more when your children are very young. And as your world shrinks, it can feel terrifying and suffocating. So I love that she gives the housewife the whole world, almost, is what it feels like. It feels like Emily Dickinson walks in, she opens the door of this woman's house and like says, all this is yours and it's going to be amazing. And she takes the mundane task of cleaning and she turns it into this like amazing work of art. Like this woman, this housewife, is cleaning nature. She's sweeping the sky and the pond and the fields, and as she does it, she is like almost like painting, like she's painting this color everywhere. And it's like this very satisfying feeling of like, oh, this housewife was cleaning, but really she was creating this like masterpiece, this work of art. And it's like in this open, clean space of nature. It is not in the stuffy confines of a small house. It is not done with Clorox. It is not done with, what is this? Dusting or mopping, with, what are the pine sol? Is that what it's called? Pine sol? See how good of a cleaner I am. No, just kidding. So yeah, it's like she has left the pine sol and the Clorox in her small little house, and she is running amok in the world, in this world of nature, and she is like cleaning. She is being a housewife, but she is painting, and it's all these glorious colors. Like, I love it. So one of the things that I love about this poem is all the colors that are in it. And let's see. So you imagine she sweeps with many colored brooms. So you imagine this housewife, and she has these brooms that are like made, like brooms are usually like yellowy brown, like tan color, you know what I mean? Straw, like dead straw. So all of a sudden she's like breathed life into these brooms, and they're like multicolored brooms, and she leaves the shreds behind. So I'm imagining, like, I don't know if the shreds are like pieces of the broom that have, yeah, like I think it's probably, you know how like those straw brooms will like lose little shreds from the broom. So instead of sweeping and leaving like this dead straw everywhere, she is leaving like shreds of color. Oh, housewife in the evening west, come back and dust the pond. So maybe she's like sweeping the sky, she's sweeping the land, and Emily Dickinson is like, hold on, come back. Come do what you're doing on this pond. I want to see the pond come to color with your broom. And then, so I guess she does. It says, you dropped a purple ravelling in. You dropped an amber thread. So we've got purple, we've got amber. So you, and now you've littered all the east with duds of emerald. So now the whole east, she's come from evening west. She's come all the way to the east, and she's littered it with duds of like this rich emerald green. So you can imagine the purple, the green. I think amber is kind of like a golden brown. Like, I think that's what amber, I hope this is right. I'm gonna look really not smart. That's what I think of when I think of amber. Like, I think of, I guess amber could be red. I'm gonna pause this and look. I'm gonna pause this really quick. Okay, so I just looked up to make sure that we get the color of amber right. And it is. Amber is like a yellowish honey color. And it comes from a hardened resin. It's a hardened fossilized resin from coniferous trees. So I imagine that's sort of like some kind of like sap or something that the trees have made that's hardened over the years. So like when you think of amber, think of like that honey yellowed brownish color that you would, and see through, like that clear kind of color. So we've got purple, amber, emerald, and it's these brooms are like leaving it everywhere all throughout nature. And it says, and still she plies her spotted brooms. So that like conjures a very weird picture in my head. What does it conjure in your head? For me, like a spotted broom, I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I see this like spotted, like black and white and brown. I don't know why those are the colors that I see, but that's what I see. And still the aprons fly. So I imagine, okay, so I had to look up the word plies. It says, and still she plies her spotted brooms. I was like, what the heck does that mean? Plies means to run or travel regularly over a fixed course. And it also means to perform one's work or office busily or steadily. So, and still she plies her spotted brooms. So she is steadily doing her work with her brooms. Like she is, running, traveling over a fixed course with her brooms, doing her thing. And then it says, and still the aprons fly. So I can imagine this housewife, this like almost like spirit of a housewife, and her colored broom, you know, just painting everything with all these beautiful colors, like near sunset, you know, like I don't know what time of day you imagine. And her apron, because she's so busily doing all her work and painting all these colors everywhere, as she moves, you can see her apron blowing in the wind, like almost flying. You see this apron as she's busy doing her work. And it says, so, and still she plies her spotted brooms, and still the aprons fly, till brooms fade into stars, and then I come away. So this spirit of this housewife. She's busy. She's out there. She's dusting the pond, the sky, the land with amber and purple and emerald. And she's busy like creating all these beautiful colors everywhere. You almost imagine like the evening or like a sunset, and she's, you know, the sky and the world is doing its really beautiful things with all of its colors. And she says, she ends this poem that she's busy until the brooms fade. So then you imagine it's like getting darker, like she's been busy with her color, doing her thing, and till the brooms fade softly into stars. You know, when evening comes, when nighttime comes, it's not a like bam, sudden kind of thing. When night comes, it is like, you know, the sun slowly sets and it's slowly, the lights dim down. So you imagine this like soft disappearing of this housewife. So she slowly like fades, and her brooms and her colors slowly fade. But as she fades, we are not left with darkness. As she fades, we are left with the stars in the sky. How beautiful is that? Like, we have gone, she has taken something, Emily has taken us from, she's taken the mundane, like most boring thing a woman can have to do, which is house cleaning. And she has taken it and made it into this like magical and creative experience. She's taken it out of this small place of like a stuffy home, and she's brought it into nature, and she's compared it to the colors we see like at sunset. And they're being spread over trees and ponds and land and sky, and you can just see it doing its thing. And as the sun fades and night begins to rise, like it is like this softening, and she slowly disappears. She was busy and doing her thing, and she slowly fades. Her broom slowly fades, and we're left with a night sky that is full of stars. I mean, for such a short little poem, like it's hard to put that much color and like vibrancy and magic, especially into something as mundane as cleaning. What Emily has done with reality and fantasy here is absolutely incredible. She's taken them, put them together, and made like this explosion of color in our minds, and left us with the feeling of night and stars. Like you've seen this magical show of color, and now you can just lay back in the grass and look at the sky and be awed at all the stars. It's incredible. Can you take something that mundane, that boring as cleaning, and turn it into magic like Emily Dickinson? I don't know. There's a lot of artists out there. There's a lot of creative people out there. I imagine there's a lot we could do with the mundane, a lot we could turn into something absolutely magical. Anyway, thank you for joining me and Emily today. I hope we brought some color and some life into your world with just a few words, and we hope you have a wonderful week.
You're Emily Dickinson.